So in today's video, we're going to talk about what houses you can buy in Virginia Beach under $1 million, and we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Sansalone, and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area that goes from Virginia Beach through Williamsburg, and I do videos every week about living and moving to the area. So we're going to talk about what you can buy in Virginia Beach under $1 million. Now, you can buy most of the houses in Virginia Beach under $1 million, but not $300,000-400,000. We're talking about closer to $1 million. $1 million, $900,000 in that 8s range. But one thing to keep in mind when talking about $1 million price point here is that there are very specific things that create value to get to that $1 million point. For example, the closer you are to water or water access, deep water access, boat access, or beach access will push that valuation up to $1 million. In addition to that, size of house makes a big difference as well. However, depending on where you are, that size can make more or less of a difference. For example, if you're in the southern or central parts of Virginia Beach and you have a big house, well, that's not going to push us up towards $1 million usually, unless it's some massive house. The reason is because the areas around there are more like $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and $600,000. But there are certain neighborhoods that if you get a house off the water, a little bit larger, you might be in that $800,000 to $900,000 price range because of the location that you're buying in. So exclusivity is another big factor here when looking at $1 million houses in Virginia Beach. Now let's go into the map and show you the spots that have the most concentration of $1 million houses in Virginia Beach. Now if you look at the map, and you see Virginia Beach is a large city, but you notice there's a lot of water frontage, whether it be along the north and eastern sides near the beach, or water access going into like the Little Neck, Great Neck, and Thoroughgood areas, the northern central parts of the area. In areas like around the Lynnhaven Inlet, or the Lynnhaven Bay, or Broad Bay, Langhorne Bay on the eastern side. Anything water access that you can also drive a boat through and dock your boat at your house, that's going to really greatly increase the value of the house that you have. And so that means that you can get a house in that $1 million price point on water, but you also then have to usually give up the size of the house to get it in that price range. So looking on the northwestern side first, we're going to start over in the Ridgely Manor area. This is the one neighborhood on the northwestern side that's not near water that you might be paying $800,000-900,000 for, and this is right around the Cypress Point Country Club. I'll drop a pin so you can see what I'm talking about right here. A lot of newer construction, new construction, and larger houses. I mentioned before, you're going to be getting a bigger house for no water access. That's the trade-off to being in around $1 million. You can get some under here, you can get some just over here at over $1 million as well. But one thing to note here too is you're getting into a different school district that might not be in as high demand as other parts of Virginia Beach, which is another reason why you can get that size house in and around $1 million. This Bayside High School District. But then going further east and north, you'll notice a trend. Going on the north side, where the beaches are, this is Chicks Beach on the northwestern corner of Virginia Beach. This whole section right here has houses off the water, sometimes $600,000, $500,000, $700,000, but on the water or next to the water, that quick beach access, you're talking more like $8, $9, $1 million and over, all along that shoreline and close to the shoreline. And then there's a lot of condos and areas near the beach here. But then if you go over towards Cape Story by the Sea, you have a lot more of a bungalow style neighborhood right near the water. These beach accesses, you get these small little bungalows there. You got one story, 2 story. It's just more of that beach community feel. And this area as well has some options that are close to $1 million, and then you're getting over $1 million right on that water area. So then coming off the water, over $1 million like Bay Island. Bay Island is an area that you're going to be minimum, really pretty much $1 million. It usually easily goes over that. You got water access to the bay and also into Broad Bay, and great views of the water as well. But then going further south, the areas that have the most concentration in the north central sections of Virginia Beach are places like Thoroughgood, but Thoroughgood along near the water, just over $1 million if you're on close to the water. And then $800,000, $900,000 as you get into more of the meat and potatoes of Thorogood or close to the water. But then as you go into Little Neck is one of my favorite neighborhoods in areas in all of Virginia Beach. And if you go up towards the tip, these areas in the north section, like Eagles Nest Point's a good example. These houses are well over $1 million, $2, $3, sometimes $4+ million houses along the water. Some of the best views anywhere in Virginia Beach. But then if you go off of the water and you get into places like Middle Plantation, I love Middle Plantation, Bishop's Gate, which is just next to Middle Plantation. Some of the best neighborhoods I think anywhere in Virginia Beach for the price, $800,000, $900,000 in that range. You can get some over $1 million, but some of the most meaty sections and most concentrated areas of houses that are like 3,000 square feet and around 3,500 that are in that $800,000, $900,000 price range you can find in Middle Plantation or also Bishop's Gate, just next to Middle Plantation. And that's the main concept here is Little Neck has a large concentration of either houses on the water that might have some that are around $1 million or concentrated in Little Neck that are just under $1 million. For example, as you get further into the corner of Little Neck, the further north you go, you'll find houses like that. But one of the key parts, the places that you can get best potential water access around $1 million is going to be Kings Grant. There are some neighborhood or some houses along the water, very close or that a little bit smaller, like 2,500, 2,800 square feet, maybe 2,000, that can be in and around $1 million and potentially even water access in some real nice neighborhoods, real nice corners of Virginia Beach. And so the views here are awesome. I mean, again, not to say that they're all $1 million on the water or less, but you're going to find some great corners in here and the potential for water access in that price range, in maybe $850, $900. So, and then going further east, you'll find more that are along the water. And I'd say Great Neck, anywhere around Great Neck, like Wimbledon, is a great neighborhood on the northwestern side of Virginia, of Great Neck. You're still in that 8s price range. Allenton's another one that will easily go over $1 million, but you can find some good houses in Allenton for just under $1 million as well. And staying in Great Neck, the further south you go, there are some other spots as well, like for example, Trent, Berkshire. Off the water, still like the 6s and 7s, but you can get some on the water for, well over $1 million. But great views of the water, some real nice floor plans in here, just very unique neighborhood. It's very well wooded, great nature, real quiet, and it's also very accessible to other parts of Virginia Beach as well. Now the drawback to a place like Trent, Berkshire, and especially if you go further south into Great Neck, you'll start seeing jet noise becoming more of an issue, and even going over towards the west side or east side near the ocean front as well. But going back to, for example, Leghorn Point over on this eastern side of Great Neck, other great little spots, nooks and crannies in the corners of these neighborhoods that you would never know that were there unless you drove back there and had a house back there, right? So this is like real quiet, real secluded, but also you're only like 2 minutes away from First Colonial Road, which you're very close to Hilltop. And then going over into Bird Neck Point as well, very exclusive, near the Cavalier Golf and Yacht Club. Drop a pin in here too, because these are cool houses. Again, back to the idea of very naturey, close to golf if you like that. But there's no real specific distinct master plan community feel because each area is different. You got access to water in some spots. Now these are going to be back over $1 million in a lot of these cases, but you can get potentially a little bit off the water. You might be able to stay under $1 million in these spots, closer to Laskin Road, which is this road right here. Now, going further east, you'll see also the North End. The North End it's like a beach community. It's really secluded. Beach access in all of the streets that line the shore. This is like 79th Street. You see the public beach access right there. They all have, or most of them have, public beach access. And so parking is difficult, but if you want bungalow style houses, kind of like Cape Story by the Sea, but bigger, you'll find some that are not necessarily on the beach, but just off the beach. You can get around $1 million for some of these places. And also, if you were okay with lower sizes, you can be in here as well. It's a great beach community. Then going further south, question comes up, can I find a house in Bay Colony, which is one of the more exclusive neighborhoods in Virginia Beach, which is another big factor I mentioned before, exclusivity. In Bay Colony, you can be close to the beach, Beach. You can bike to the beach from Bay Colony, but it's a very like green, real like tree-lined street area. It's really like a more of it's an older neighborhood, but like you see no sidewalks. You know, it's just, this is a very old community, but it's very, very in demand, and you can get great houses along the water, $3, $4, $5 million, but off the water, you can be in that $1 million price point and get a nice house. Going further south, this is where you get into a place like Croatan. Croatan has a few spots. You might be able to find some off the water that'll be under $1 million, but as you get closer to the beach, with beach access, you're gonna be back over $1 million again. Now that leads us back to the southern part, the southeastern part of Virginia Beach. There are some neighborhoods in the southeastern part that, to me, you have the most bang for buck for like $800,000, $900,000 houses, or $700,000 in that range, in school district. Number 1 and 2, to me, are Asheville Park and Heritage Park, which are right across from each other. These two neighborhoods are relatively new. They have newer style floor plans in them, and newer style elevations or looks of houses. So it's more of that, it sometimes has that even a craftsman feel in some cases. I like these areas for that reason. If you want a more of a planned subdivision, master plan community, these two are very good options. Then if you go into like Heron Ridge is like the 8s price range, $700,000 to $800,000 price range over near the Heron Ridge golf course. I'll drop a pin so you can see what I'm talking about here. This is right on the golf course. These are 3,000 square feet, 4,000 square feet, in that $750,000 to $900,000 price range in Heron Ridge. And then again, school districts are great. So you got Ocean Lakes, you've got Kellam, you've got First Colonial, you've got Cox, all through the northeast and southeast sections of the city. And so you're going to have more, the more in demand school districts you'll find, the more the prices will start going up for the same house, which is why Heron Ridge and Asheville Park, Heritage Park are good options in that price range, because it can be kind of hard to find those types of houses for the price range. Now, another one is South Shore Estates, this real small neighborhood right here. You can find some, because of the lake views, you're going to be in the 8s. For the most part, but I think, you know, to get in the Ocean Lake School District, which is very in demand, is to be in that price range. South Shore Estates is a good option. I'm gonna drop a pin also to show you where South Shore Estates is too, like on Sandoval Drive here. See, the houses are nice, but you can't see the lake very much, but the fact that you have lake access in this part of Virginia Beach is very hard to find, and for the size of the houses that there are. So that's why you'll find the prices being where they are. And also parts of Lagamore. I've talked about Lagamore before. One part of Lagamore is in the Ocean Lake School District and the newer side. And so drop a pin in here. You know, great houses. More of an exclusive community as well on the eastern side. If you say you're in Lagamore, people like have a real high view of what Lagamore is. It's a great neighborhood. I love Lagamore. And then going back further south again, now we're talking about a couple of other areas. Sandbridge, which is there's a connection off of near Heritage Park, near Sandbridge Road. This connection, this one road, takes you to Sandbridge, and this is like the destination spot where people come for a lot of vacations, you know, week-long rentals, that kind of thing. So on the water, several $1 million easily. These houses are large, 5, sometimes 10 bedrooms along the water. Off the water, you can get, you know, under $1 million. You can get, you know, $800,000, $900,000, $1 million. Smaller houses, 25, 2,000 square feet, but off of that water, off of the beach, but you can still have access to the beach. So Sandbridge is an option. As well as going back over to the west, you've got this large landmass called Pungo in the country section of Virginia Beach. Now there are parts in here you can get houses in the 5, 6, 7 price range, but you can get all larger ones like custom houses, larger ones on property for, you know, under $1 million, just under $1 million. See the large, this is farmland, and then random houses, and then farms again. This is very classic Pungo, and so that's why you'll find the value. You find some like in the 5s and 6s, and that can happen. So if you want $1 million in the country, this is the place to focus, because this is where the most concentration of the houses are, just because there aren't many other options. Besides the other parts sort of close to that area, the south central parts of Virginia Beach, there's one neighborhood is in the south, almost southeastern corner near Pungo. There's a neighborhood called Indian River Plantation, and this is one that is, I'd say it was a very exclusive neighborhood starting in the 90s. And so if you live in Indian River Plantation, you're getting one of the most premier neighborhoods in Virginia Beach. You've got some larger houses, some stucco houses. One thing to mention here is the sidings of the houses are different, or can be different, but you've got a little bit unique designs. You see these houses here, like a lot more archways, a lot more just sometimes even Mediterranean looks, so even the arches in the front. So that happens quite a bit in Indian River Plantation, but it's a very exclusive neighborhood. And for the price, you can get some over $1 million. You'll find a lot that will be in the $800,000 and $900,000 price range as well. It's off of Indian River Road. Which is a long road. Will take you into the country and also back into the rest of Virginia Beach. And so I do like Indian River Plantation for that reason. And one other thing I'll mention on the southwestern corner though is Lake James. You can get a house on Lake James, for example, for in the 7s range, maybe $675. This lake is one of the more premier lakes in Virginia Beach, separate from even, like I mentioned, South Shore Estates. But the houses aren't necessarily as big, but the lake access is so nice. It's a large lake, get real nice views from your house. So you're gonna be giving up a little bit of size to be on Lake James, but for what you're gonna get, I think it's one of the best spots, especially because you're so conveniently accessed. You're very convenient to other parts of Virginia Beach. If you have any more questions about living in Virginia Beach or the rest of Hampton Roads, I've got videos here. You can click here as well. If you have any more questions to me specifically or my team, you can click below. I have my contact information in the description. You can reach out to me at any point and I will do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area, and I will see you on the next video.